Canada's sunniest city, the beautiful coulees, the South Saskatchewan River, it's all part of life. Here in Medicine Hat, welcome to the Continental Cup. They are arguably the two best women's teams in the world today, Colleen Jones and Annette Norberg. Jones has the finest resume of any curler in this country's history. 6-time Canadian champion, 2-time world winner. And she's had Continental Cup glory as well. Remember that dramatic draw 2 years ago in Regina? It helped lead North America to the win. Norberg has been building a solid list of credentials of her own. 5-time world medalist. Shut out Sherry Madal last year in Thunder Bay to help key a European win. Now, which one of these two will lead their team to the trophy this week in Medicine Hat? Colleen Jones on the ice, warming up for what will be our featured match on this second day of Continental Cup play as we say hello Canada and welcome back to the arena here in Medicine Hat and this third edition of the Continental Cup. And after day one, what have we decided? Absolutely nothing. We're dead even, North America and the Europeans. Let's look back at yesterday's first day action.
Well, here in the mixed doubles, Carol Gagnon made a great shot. She's paired with David Nedwin and throwing last, taps it back for 3, and they pick up their 6 points for North American side. Marie-France LaRouche and the women's teams really struggled early in the game. She just didn't have the draw weight, and you can see she slips through the rings here, gives up a big steal 4, and they never fought their way back.
To end the day after women's play, we saw men's play, team play, and it was Pale Lindholm. Great World Championship form, facing Mark Dacey down early, makes the run back, ends up with a good tie for Team Europe.
And nobody leaves the building. The teams hang around to cheer each other on. And after day one, well, you can see they split the points evenly, 27 apiece. And coming up today, the same format. We'll take women's team play, men's team play, and we will sandwich in between the mixed doubles again. Same format, and again, 54 points available. And we'll start with team play, and that, unlike the mixed doubles, Linda, is what people are accustomed to.
Where the usual rules, except 8 ends. You have to play quickly, and you can't fall behind. Usual rules, but if you win, you get 6. If you tie, you don't play it out, you get 3 points.
Let's talk a little bit about these two teams that we're going to see. And, well, has it all been said about Team Jones?
Well, you can't list it all, Vic. They just are the very best. The thing that amazes me, and I've said this yesterday, I'll say it again, they seem to get better and better and better every year. Like a bottle of wine, maybe?
Yellow red wine, particularly.
And, you know, Annette Norberg, tremendous team, 3 wins at the Europeans. Great stars of the last Continental Cup have failed to medal for the first time at last year's Worlds and have something to prove today.
So that is our featured match on what's going to be a very interesting day. Day 2 of the Continental Cup from the arena in Medicine Hat on TSN.
The 2004 Continental Cup of Curling on TSN is brought to you in part by Robax Platinum, helping you walk away from back pain. And by Radio Shack, just around the corner.
It's the home of the Medicine Hat Tigers, the Western Hockey League defending champions, on the road for 6-game road trip while the Continental Cup takes over their home. Let's read the ice now. It's brought to you by Robax Platinum, helping you walk away from back pain, and we did have some overnight snow.
Well, you know, Vic, we're in the middle sheet, and I think it'll be very consistent. We won't see any frost creeping in this area as we've seen in the outside sheets a little bit. One thing for sure, that when you do throw the weight, they will run very, very straight, so you have to be careful. And we've seen absolutely no breakdown of this slide path. So it should be a very, very consistent morning as far as the ice is concerned. Will we see offense or will we see defense?
Three things at the same time. And what do you choose here? Your choice.
Yes, I think have a great night.
Nancy Delahunt, Colleen Jones, Kim Kelly, Marianne Arsenault. Some final thoughts as Colleen makes her way down to the far end. It will be Jones playing the Red Stones representing North America. that will have the hammer in this first end of play. And as Linda reminded us moments ago, it is only 8 ends. And to get us going, the lead for Annette Norberg is Anna Bergstrom.
Well, we've seen this team play a number of times against each other, and with Colleen, you really have to, you never know what she's going to bring. She has everything. She can do it all. But, you know, she decides what style of game she wants to play, so we'll have to watch closely to see if she's going. The last time I saw them play, I can remember seeing them play. Did they play last year in the Continental Cup against each other? I can't remember that.
Oh, Ray, you're asking us to go back a whole year. I don't remember. We'll have to check our notes on that. But the one thing about Colleen Jones, and the reason why we talk about her getting better and better, she looks so comfortable out there. This is like her living room. She's been out in these events so many times. She loves to play in these championships, world championships, continental cups. She looks relaxed and ready to go. They are so prepared. We heard their little team talk, make good choices, one shot at a time, very clear and focused on their goals. They are so well prepared to step on the ice.
And she's unflappable. She just, if something goes wrong, she just puts it aside. That's one of her talents for sure. I remember the last time I watched them, I didn't play last year. Colleen didn't play against her last year. But in Lausanne, we saw them play in the final, and there was 5 or 6 blank ends in that game. It was a very defensive game. So, but we have a rock in front, and glad come around. So certainly going to be a little offense in this game.
Well, as I said yesterday, I think when you're playing Colleen, she likes to stay in her comfort zone by keeping it open to start the game. And if I was playing against her, I would try not to let her. Now, in this game, Colleen has the hammer, so you don't go crazy, you don't take big risks, but this is a good way to start. One guard out in front, get something in behind, force Colleen and her team to make some tougher shots early in the game.
Nancy Delahunt wanted to say hello to her nephew, Michael Gagne. Michael apparently broke his leg playing hockey and has been in traction back in Halifax for 2 weeks. So we hope you're feeling better, Michael, and your aunt says hello.
Easy!
You know, we talk a lot about Colleen, and she is, I mean, if I needed someone to throw the last rock to save my life, she'd be right at the top of the list, believe me. She just has that ability to be able to put all the pressures away and get in the hack and deliver. But it's a tremendous unit, Victor. All 4 of them, it works. And that's the one thing about curling. We say this every year. It's so important that you play as a team. And this is one team that really does fit so well together.
I have to admit, I'm a little disappointed that if your life was on the line, you wouldn't want me to throw that stone.
Yeah, I wouldn't want you in the room. Especially not brushing it.
You got to get it here, Vic. I'm sorry, Ray. I just can't. I can't get it there. I'll just have to take your chances. Marianne Arsenault, as Colleen Jones has the hammer here in the first. We're all even after day 1, 27 points apiece. Europe and North America.
Marianne just got that started a wee bit, and you can see it went right away out of her hand. So
It's not the end of the world. No, not at all. It was definitely tight ice.
That's the thing on this ice. It is fairly straight with up weight, so you're not going to take a lot of ice. And if there's any inward motion, if you happen to slide a little bit narrow, there's not a lot of tolerance for that mistake. So you will crash, but the options, it was better to get rid of the guard than to go by everything. So it was a plan B.
Catherine Lindell. Get over to cover that stone back 8. Let's take a look at the ice times now with Linda. They're brought to you by Radio Shack, just around the corner.
Well, we talk about morning ice and how consistent it is. Also, the speed is very consistent. Hits are about 9 seconds hog to hog for the ladies. 14.5 seconds for the draw we've talked about, but it's the sliding. It slides so easily in the morning. The brushers have to be ready and not take it too far in the house.
You can see by the numbers we put up on the board when we did reading the ice too. There's just the morning draw, and then this sheet B, it's just not quite as much curl as we've seen on some of the other sheets that you'll see later on this evening. Because you will be with us all day, I hope.
Well, I will be.
Yeah, you two are going to be here, that's for sure.
You were looking at me, so I thought I better answer. I mentioned the European titles for Annette Norberg. That championship that is in December every year and qualifies the teams for the World Championship is highly respected amongst the European nations. And the fact that Annette has won the last 3 titles really has her ranked as one of the best teams in Europe in a long time, really. They've dominated women's play. And when we look at some of the other titles these players have, look at their shooting percentages from team play yesterday. They are a very solid team that's probably coming onto the world scene for a little while yet.
Well, if that shot's any indication. Around the guard, top of the forefoot, absolutely perfect. So Colleen has no choice but to, with Kim Kelly, to run this one back.
Arsenault on the right, Delahunt, and he'll drive it by.
Almost, eh? So close, Kim.
If the ice has a tendency to run a little straighter, Linda, with up weight, does it make the run backs, should it make the run backs easier?
It does. The only thing about that last one is it was right on center line, and sometimes it's hard to know, Vic, if it's going to run dead straight on center. If the player happens to get one side or the other of center, it's dramatically different. But in general, yes, the up weight will run very straight. The guards are actually not that easy to place. The last one was a little bit off. We'll see if they can get it right in front of shot stone. That's a great one.
Oh, we mentioned the overnight snow. There was snow, a little bit of rain yesterday. Humidity was up. It had its effect on the ice. Kathy Gauthier, what's the ice like at your level?
Well, it's much better. I talked to Tim Jovic, and one of the things they were able to do last evening, because the temperatures dropped so much, were to open the doors and pump the building with fresh air. He's reduced the humidity in the building quite a bit this morning, so we've got better ice conditions. The big question is what's going to happen outside later today, and that, of course, will impact what's happening inside the building.
Yeah, the temperature's supposed to stay at around -1 or 2. I thought they opened the doors and pumped fresh air in here for you. Just thought to get fresh air into that arena for Ray.
Poor Ray.
That's nice. That was nice of you.
It's only the first end of the
You know, this is a
draw.
long day, Vic.
Yeah, it is.
But it's, yeah, I was a little surprised. The early forecast when we were getting ready was supposed to be milder than this. The mild weather is still coming. They're expecting a Chinook by Sunday and Monday, but right now it's still below freezing. As we get ready to play skip stones here in the first.
Well, Kim Kelly just missed that run back, but that's one of those dreaded little things that happen. You just missed the run back, and the delivered stone stays out in front, partially covering still the stone in the top of the forefoot. And now Annette has a chance to put another guard on, or even come around, tuck it half behind that long red guard you'll see come into view soon. Momentarily, right after they brush. It's coming up now. And there it is.
Bergstrom. Lindahl. And they'll plug the hole.
Good guard.
That's definitely the order I would do it. Put the guard up. Do it so that Colleen has to run yours back. The red is not a good angle. And then if Colleen misses this one, bring the next one in.
Almost right on the nose. It's going to be great, man. As long as we get to nose, I'm afraid to take more ice because, you know, I'm missing 6 feet of curl.
Yeah, exactly.
And compared to what,
I think
yours
your ice
was in
looks
the house.
good. Yeah, it did.
Colleen Jones in her first. They have the hammer here in this opening end, playing just 8.
Double them off there.
Yep.
Wanted to get to the nose and can't. And now again we'll leave the shooter there. Now what do you do with your last one if you're Lynn
Well, the wide
Norberg,
out turn.
you go right in?
Right in, yeah.
You know, it is
Wide
funny.
out turn.
Like you say, this is all set up. Marianne threw it great, but that rollout, you know,
I
is
know,
where we
I know.
get it.
I know.
Oh, there you go. That's interesting they say that, because this isn't so much what Norberg has done, Linda, as what the Canadian team or the North American team has not done.
Well, they're pointing out one miss, but it all started with putting a short stone. Annette Norberg dropped the guard out in front. All you need, Vic, is the one miss. There was a rollout earlier in the end, and then that wonderful come around the stone that's still in the rings, dead buried behind the center guard that they placed with their first stone, and that is what has made life difficult. And in my opinion, that's what you've got to do with Colleen. Put the rocks out in front. First end, you often get the opportunity on a rollout to make that draw. In this case, the Norberg team jumped all over it, made the perfect come around.
I've got to say, Ray, that one thing we've seen in the 8-end games, unlike national championships, world championships, when we play the 10, we haven't seen yet an open first end. It's go right from the start.
Yeah, well, Linda was saying, you know, mentioned that in her opening comments too. You really don't have a lot of time. You got to get going, and there's no reason to be waiting in curling anyway. We've talked about that for years. You know, you get a chance to practice on the ice. You know the weight. She wants to stop this short. She doesn't want to be too deep.
Snuggles up right beside, so without the hammer, Annette Norberg is lying 2, top of the forefoot.
That's a good shot, Linda. She's got that in a perfect spot. Collins only got this run back. But it's her favorite shot, the out turn, but it's a long run back. Just going to take another look at
Can't
this.
tell if this is a hole or not.
Is there a hole here? This is what she's looking at right in that
It's real tight.
position
It
there.
is awful.
It's a nice target for the run back, you know, more
It
than
is.
one.
It is, and that's
Yeah.
a scary hole.
Yep.
Ray, is there anything?
Scary hole.
Could you play a pick on those 2 stones at all?
No, the interesting thing about bringing the second one in, and I say this every time, there's a larger surface area actually to drive the run back into. If they were slightly more staggered, the 2 yellows in the house, it would make hitting them a little more difficult. Now, in saying that, you still got to hit the right spot on the front stone, and as Ray mentioned, there is quite a distance between the rocks. So that's what adds the difficulty to the shot.
I think in this case, Vic, that the run back is the easier of the 2 shots. It's the percentage of the 2 shots in the sense that you do have a bigger target because the rocks, as you mentioned, are right beside each other. So, you know, even if you just get one of them and give up a single, you're not unhappy. As a matter of fact, you'd be happy.
Very.
So facing 2 with her last one. Colleen Jones trying to run it back. Nancy Delahunt now takes up her position behind the stones. Kelly Arsenault back right off. Got to come up for her.
Get one of them.
And she won't. And so it'll be a steal of 2 for Annette Norberg here in the first, as they take advantage of 1 miss.
I know, a little less ice.
Let's begin our updates on this second day of women's team play with Lucia Ebnotter against Patty Lank. Ebnotter from Bern, Switzerland. Lank, Madison, Wisconsin, and it's the hammer belonging to the Europeans. Ebnotter, of course, a silver medal winner in 2002 in Salt Lake City.
What a great shot she makes here. Look at this. She makes the double to get the blank.
This is a rematch of last year's bronze medal game at the Worlds. Now we go over to Sheet A, featuring North America's Marie-France LaRouche against the 2-time world champion Doherty Nordby, who has the hammer here. LaRouche and her team from Quebec City. And they struggled yesterday in the opener. against Ebnotter, and they were getting a little extra attention from the coaching staff before the game started.
They were getting a little bit of help in preparing to play Doherty. If you know Doherty, she's going to put rocks in play, and look at all the stones around. This is a draw for two. Have to get through the hole and will not. So that stone just biting the edge of the forefoot. The single point for Nordby in Europe, and they have the early lead there. While in our featured game here at the arena in Medicine Hat, it's a steal of 2 for Annette Norberg. Colleen Jones has the hammer in the second.
Well, interestingly enough, Linda, Annette Norberg, without last rock in the first end, threw that rock short of the rings, a center line guard, and then we saw what happened as the end progressed. In this end, with a 2-point lead, she brought the stone to the top of the button, top of the forefoot. That's where she got it. Colleen hit, and they exchanged stones, and now she's ignoring and going to the corner.
And this is Colleen's traditional way with the 4-rock rule of approaching an attempt at a deuce. If you try to put up the corner on your first one, the other team can come back with a guard that you cannot peel, so they'd wait for their second one. That one comes into the rings, unfortunately for them. And so Annette can hit and sit too. I really like what Annette is doing so far. I liked her first end approach, low risk, and yet got something going. And here she's saying to Colleen, you're going to have to make this happen yourself. I'm not going to give you any easy chances to get your deuce.
Day one was split evenly, 54 points available each side, picking up the 27 points. The captain of the European team for a 3rd straight year is the former world champion, Christian Sorum, and he's with Kathy.
Christian, tied up coming into today. What could Team Europe have done better yesterday?
Not really much, I think. They're not used to the ice. They're getting going, and I'm very pleased with being tied.
We look ahead to today, some key matches. You will have to make decisions later today about the big women's skins. Have you made up your mind, or is this morning going to dictate that?
I have ideas, that's for sure, but obviously I'm going to look at this morning games too, and before I decide.
A quick comment on mixed.
Do you mean today or
Yes.
coming? Yeah. Well, that's a game that I think the players just enjoy, and it looks like it can go any way for every team. It's just an enjoyable time for them.
Perfect. Good luck.
Okay, thank you.
It is a fun format, the mix, for sure, but you've heard David Nedewin say yesterday, if you were with us in the interview we had with him, Kathy had with him, was that, you know, every little point counts. When you get, you know, when the teams get up into the high, you know, 130, 140, 150, all of a sudden the 3 points or the 6 points that you could have gotten in, you know, in the mixed doubles or in the singles that are coming up on Saturday are very important. They're not a lot of points. It's all the big points are in the skins format, but every little point counts.
Marianne Arsenault here in the second.
Backline. Backline to.
Rather than running
yeah,
back the
backline out.
guard, they're trying to get at shot stone and tap it out.
Curl, baby, curl, curl. Keep curling.
Yeah, as soon as you overthrow it,
Oh, yeah.
it just,
Yeah.
you don't get the same pattern.
Yep. Good shot, though.
Now here are the matchups for the mixed doubles, which you'll see at 4 Eastern Time, 1 Pacific. The players who didn't participate yesterday will play today. So again, the Swedish combination. Lank and Furby are teamed. And that will be the one that we will feature.
And it's fine to say for them that it's fun, but it gives me a big headache because we have to go through the different rules, keep track of the stones. There's stationary stones.
Gives you the headache because I don't pay any attention.
That's a good plan. Just wait for the rock to come down.
Age, a little bit of seniority. So I have a lot of fun. No, it's confusing too with the stationary stones there, and then they have the option of making the switch from last thrower to, you know, stone 3, 4, and 5. So We will go over all those, or Linda will go over all those small things when we get to it.
I hate to point it out, but it's thrower 2, 3, and 4, and 1 and 5.
Yeah, okay, well,
You just
there
made
you
your
are.
point, right?
Well, you could have just let that go, actually.
More air in the building, please. More air into the building.
All right, let's get back to this game. They got the stone away from the button. Colleen has got the stone away from the button, so that was one of the concerns. Not a lot of curl.
You made the point about earning points, Ray, and how important every game is. I mean, the other thing is truly the pride, the thing we talk about with the Continental Cup. Yes, there's a little bit of cash at stake, but they're playing for pride for their different sides. And the second one is sending little messages. You meet these teams later at a World Championship, the Olympics perhaps, and you want to make sure every time you step on the ice, you're taking your best game out there. So they are truly very focused, these athletes.
So close by Kim Kelly to get that roll behind the corner. It does run straight. As soon as you step that weight up a little bit, it runs very, very straight.
That was the thing, though, Linda, when this was all developed, and we had our first one 2 years ago, 3 years ago now, in Regina. How would they react to being a team? Was there, you see it in all kinds of sports, when baseball teams get together, or hockey teams in particular at the Olympics, and suddenly the fellow that you're battling with Saturday night is now your teammate. And that has been, I think, for me, the biggest surprise, how they have, in fact, adopted each other, adopted this concept of team within a team.
They really enjoy it. The captains add a lot to it. They bring the spirit. They talk about how they can get their teams to bond. And the interesting thing is we go to the team meeting where they get their uniforms, and they pull those uniforms out of the bag and stand next to each other with either the blue or the gold and black. And you can just see them come together when they put on those uniforms. It's just amazing.
Trying to roll away, try and take that hit and roll away from Colleen.
On either one of them, it's good. That's a great draw, but I like the hit and roll.
You know what? I'd like to come over here too, because I'm guessing
Have a
I
look.
haven't seen that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Little less, Nance. It should be pretty straight.
Going to play the other side to stay inside the 4-foot. To play the hit and roll on this one, she has to go way out here to the edge of the 8. So she can play this stone here, try and get the roll in behind this corner guard.
You know, the reason why I want to play this hit and roll, I haven't seen this side of the ice coming this way except in practice, and I would hate to have to count on this one for my hit and stay and not having seen it. So. But I'll try the hit and roll.
That's a good thought process by Colleen.
And I really love the way Kim Kelly works with her. Kim doesn't hold the broom, throws third stones, but always when Colleen's in the hack, if Kim offers advice, it's short, it's to the point, and she accepts the answer. She's just a wonderful player.
Yeah, they are just a terrific unit. And all those small things are what make the difference in this game. That's why one team wins and one team loses. They do not have all the package, and this team has. That rock seemed to curl a little more.
And look at it. Looks surprised, and maybe a good thing that you got to look at that piece of ice.
A chance for Annette to get in here, and I want to key here, of course, is to keep that stone in front of this tee line here. Don't slip back into this area and make Colleen's draw a little more difficult.
I really like Ava too. She points to the brushers. That's what she was doing a moment ago to indicate where they want the stone and call down. The reason they wanted to touch the 4-foot, if Colleen hit the open one and rolled over, she'd have to roll quite a bit to outcount this stone if it ends up in the 4-foot.
Catherine Lindahl is on the left, Anna Bergstrom on the right.
It's got lots of weight. Remember the little note, it slides so easily in the morning draw. Look at it go.
Just back of the button.
Yeah, you want that rock at the top of the 4-foot.
That one was a 4-3, yeah. With no, you can throw.
There was a 14-3 with no brushing, just showing you how easily it slides. And I know they didn't want to say it to Colleen, but you have to hand this to the brushers. It'll curl nicely if you give it that perfect draw weight.
Weight's pretty good. Just to it. On its own. 4-foot then, just. Line's fine. No line. Needs a bump. No line.
Oh boy, Kelly. Tim Kelly saying it may be just a little hot, and now it has to work too. It has to come over. Needs a little bump, they said. Remember what Linda said about sliding and sliding and sliding, and finally will stop, but it is another steal of one. Mistakes have played Jones so far.
Screwy.
It's been a 3-point steal through 2.
Was it 1 or 2?
Oh, definitely.
Let's continue our updates. 2 other games on the ice. We'll start with Ebnotter against Lank. After Ebnotter had blanked in the first, you can see the red stone. That's on the back of the button there. That belongs to Patty Lank and her team from Madison, Wisconsin. Final stone, Lucia Ebnotter. She beat Lank for the bronze medal at last year's Worlds. Tries the in, off, and up and back and round, and it didn't go, and Lank steals one. The other game features Marie-France LaRouche against Nordbeek, and we'll update that as they play in the second. It is 1-0 Nordbeek leading there. 3-0 in our featured game. Steal of 2, steal of 1 by the Europeans, and Annette Norberg and Colleen Jones and company just haven't executed.
They've had some big mistakes, but as I said, I really like Annette's game plan. She knows exactly what she wants to do. Colleen did have an open draw. That doesn't mean it was an easy one to the 4-foot, and just added too much speed. We saw that from the stopwatch. We heard the brushers say they tried to indicate Ray that it was very fast, but it's hard not to plant a negative if you say don't overthrow it or something like that. You have to be so careful. And Annette has shown us a lot of different things. The first end, she put up the guard and got the great come around. Last end, played it more open. This end is countering a corner guard by coming around it. Ray, she's showing us a lot of different tactics.
There's no question that they're not going, that the game plan as far as Sweden is concerned, or Europe is concerned, is not to play it open. That was pretty evident the very first rock she asked for out in front.
A little more, I think.
Colleen's putting up another corner. Free guard zone area.
All right, let's go now to the game between LaRouche and Nordby, with the 2-time world champion. Nordby leading 1-0, and LaRouche is lying 1. back 4 foot, and this is a draw for 2. Annie LeVay on the right, Veronique Gregoire on the left, Carol Gagnon calling the line. She's got to come through a hole for a possible 2. Get through the hole, she does. Now it's a question of will it stop in time. Has to stop and quickly stop, and it will go too far. The second shot stone is that one just at the top of the 4, so it's a 1-1 tie as they go to 3.
Just a brushing error, really. They jumped on that pretty quickly and brushed it, I would say, a good halfway down the ice, and it had lots of room to get through the hole. So just a small brushing error. It cost the North American team that extra point.
Linda, both you and Ray have said for so many years, if you're going to try and, if there's a way to possibly beat Colleen, and she's good. Earlier, years ago in her career, she wasn't comfortable with the stones in play. She's probably gotten more comfortable with it. But still, you've always questioned, Ray's questioned, why more Canadian teams at national championships don't put more rocks in play.
Well, we've seen that she's going to beat you if you run up and down the sheet. This team is technically superb. Colleen calls a good game, but she is most comfortable starting a game a little more open. She can make every shot if she wants to, but we're talking comfort zone. So you take her out of her comfort zone and try and find some way to beat them by putting rocks in play. In my opinion, this game plan is one of the best I've seen, and I think a lot of teams don't spend enough time, Vic, talking about tactics, planning the game. As I said, they started with a center guard, the Norberg team, and came around it. Second end came in, forced Colleen to mix it up. Third end, they're coming around corner guards to prevent Colleen from using them. I think this so far is a brilliant game plan.
Rolls too far, pops into the open on the other side. Now granted, Ray, if you're going to play this way, the potential is there to get hurt.
Yeah, you have to execute for sure. I mean, Annette has definitely come to the ice with a plan, and as Linda says, it certainly worked so far. I mean, the last end was no indication because they did make a mistake with her last one, bringing it too far. And Colleen just didn't make the draw, so it should, you know, in essence, should be a 2-1 game. But they're looking for a little rub here to go behind the other.
Yeah, see, I think it was too close.
That was a good call. We just mentioned a moment ago that Marie-France LaRouche, if they'd rubbed the rock, it would have saved her shooter. So with Marianne Weiss, Marianne Arsenault's shot, they tried the rub to save it. Now that's one thing that also we know about the best teams, Ray. They make the plan B shots more frequently than the other teams.
Well, they see them earlier, that's for sure.
Yeah, good point. Anticipation is often the hardest part.
Eva Lund throws the third stones for this Swedish team of Annette Norberg.
Great execution by this foursome from Sweden.
Now, for Kim Kelly and the North American side, they don't really mind these rocks in play. Unfortunately, they're not positioned that well at the moment. But Colleen's sticking with the plan to just tap them back and move them around and try to utilize the guards or even the rock top 12 to get something going. And that's just not enough weight.
Yeah, that was just flat out light.
You know what? We don't have the quickness here. I don't know whether it's the direction or... No, I know.
7 to 7. Help take a ball up there.
That comment from Nancy Hunt walking back to Marianne Arsenault. We just don't have the quickness here. Are they starting to question their watches?
No, I think she was questioning the spot on the ice, Vic, and it's true. That's what a good player does, is as they're brushing, they communicate to each other about whether they think there's a patch on the ice that's a little bit slower. I think they both felt Kim Kelly threw it light. So that was the major problem with the shot, but then assess the ice and try to gather some information for the next time you play in that spot.
Så lång ut! Flickorna! Flickorna! Ja, ska flickorna nära! Flickorna!
You're going to be in big time trouble here pretty soon, if you're not already.
Flickorna! Ingenting! Halva! Ingenting!
This is another example of a good call, in my opinion. If you're going to play a guard, this is the easier way to play it, and that's crossing center line. She's already seen it once in this game, and it was tough to play the other turn.
Trodde du den var lång?
Ja, du hade ju så mycket gått mycket.
Give her a whack.
Kim Kelly looking to make amends now, trying to drive her stone back. Possibly get two here. One, and the jam.
That's the way it goes sometimes.
And now those two red stones, look at the way they are lined up.
Not so good.
Not so good.
They did, I know.
For sure that's clear.
I guess if we kept it on nose, that's the only thing it would do is bang, 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 apparently. If we kept it on shoes.
If you look at the situation, once it does make contact and the red stone rolls a little bit, it is not a happy looking house for Team North America because you don't have rocks to roll off. The only guard out in front that you could raise is a mile away.
It's too bad the way that spun off. Like if that one came
It's
off.
definitely not a happy
You like that?
That's a new one, Lou.
Eller? Ja, någonstans där.
Jämnhöjd är bra!
Happy little house. It's a cold little house this morning.
It is.
Eva sa 4 och 1.
Lots of fans here, though, to watch this great curling.
Yeah, they're wonderful. And Medicine Hat, the organizing committee, are to be complimented. Sold out, 4,000 strong here at the arena. Morning draw, just a little less, of course, and then picks up in the afternoon. Last night it was absolutely jammed.
Halva! Ja, bra, bra riktning! Halva hake! Jämsides! Ja, jämsides är bra! Halva hake! Flickorna!
She might have pinched the broom a little bit, and we do see this spot really goes. So they're just being careful not to overbrush it because it'll continue to curl if they do.
Bra, Nat.
Not so bad.
I'll tell you what I'm worried about the nose hit is that then I'm leaving the shot, I'm rocked there.
I
But
know.
anyhow, we don't have a lot of choice.
Have you got the whole rock, Colleen?
Boy, if she's got the whole rock, it's just by a little
Run it
bit.
back
Yeah,
and
she
see
can
what
see it all.
happens? Sure.
Oh, you're going to run straight back.
Yeah.
Oh, I like it. Yeah, because move that situation. I was thinking
At
even...
least try to get one spout out. About
Yeah, to use it. Yeah.
Yellow onto red, onto yellow. That's the hope.
Hurry!
Big scrub. Arsenault, Kelly, got it all? No.
There we go.
Oh, she made it anyway. Wow.
She got very fortunate, but you take them when you get them.
It's a happier little house
It's a
now.
much happier house.
It spouted. I was just trying to throw it as hard as I could.
It actually rubbed a guard,
Yeah.
the first guard, to make contact with the second, and that's why the action was so much different.
This one, that stays?
You see it just changes direction
And
here
that
a
red
little
one
bit.
hit as well. Okay. Excuse me, girl. Good throw, Skipper.
Yeah.
Go too hard.
Final stone of the end for Annette Norberg. Leading 3-0 here in the third. Colleen Jones with the
Ja, rent nu. Rent nu.
trying to nose hit that one that's top 12. Put it out a tiny bit and it won't come back, but still leaves the 2 for Europe in the house.
So facing 2 will draw here for the first point for the North Americans.
You know that as Colleen is coming down the ice, she's spending the whole time preparing to throw this draw, thinking about the speed.
Okay, so still real keen though, right?
Yeah, but you see,
I find it's like 4.5. Okay, great. No.
so that last draw from the second is still there.
You could see the hesitation there and the communication. Yeah, still trying to decide on the spot of ice how hard Colleen came out and how much she needs to give it here for draw weight to outcount Annette Norberg's 2 stones.
Facing 2 needs full 8.
Where is it?
They said 14.5 seconds hog to hog.
Nope, we're good.
It's pretty good. Full 8. Keep it clean.
You know what? You threw exactly the same weight.
Nice shot, Colleen.
Isn't that interesting?
One looked the same. Yeah.
Throw the same weight as the second when she gave up a steal. Here it stops on the lid for Jones' first point. Norberg leads and will have the hammer when we come back.
I got an 80.
More updates now, and it's back to Ebnotter and Lank. And you can see the North Americans, Lank from Madison, Wisconsin, leading 1-0. Lucia Ebnotter, the 32-year-old skip from Zurich, with a new front end of Schlonegger and Bedot.
This is a great shot. Look at this. She makes the double and scores the deuce.
Oh boy, she's made some wonderful shots. She made that great double to Blank in the first. Comes through with one there to take a 2-1 lead going to 4. Meanwhile, in our featured game, Annette Norberg will have the hammer here in the 4th for the first time, leading 3-1.
Well, she did her job the last end. Actually, Colleen had to come up with a great shot to get herself out of trouble. But, she forced her opposition to the single. Now she's got the hammer, and Colleen on the offensive throws up the long guard, and now they come around in front of the button.
This is where Nancy can make a huge difference by making these 2 shots. She got the center line guard up. Now, if you can make the freeze, you really take away the end from Norberg and have them scrambling a little bit.
Bumping a little.
Close.
No
Bumping
line.
a lot.
Oh, curl. No line. It's coming down a little.
Curl.
Still back.
Just too strong. Colleen wanted the freeze.
Too heavy. Sorry, Colleen.
I think they may be talking themselves into that a little bit. We've heard them talk about the ice, and yes, it may be different path to path, but I think mostly it's the same weight. And for Nancy, she really has to be careful because those can be top house, top 8 foot, and still be pretty successful.
Yeah. You can either hit and roll behind center or all the way over. You can hit and roll all the way over.
Marianne looking for the hit and roll.
Are you saying yes?
Whoa.
Oh, that was her.
Oh, I thought that was clean.
You guys,
We're hearing another yeah.
Yeah. Let's keep an eye on the weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, may as well pay attention to detail on this one. Because I think it's keeping up.
Sure.
It's an interesting thing when that seed of doubt gets planted, isn't it?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. When you're at this level and you have the mechanics that most of these curlers have, the game is in the head.
This is a very interesting call. They decided to run that guard off, keep things simple. Europe with the hammer this end.
And they made the roll to cover the stone at the back of the 8. Let's take a look at the statistics. Wow, Colleen at 58% so far. And remember, though, she struggled. She had that draw that went through. And then Annette Norberg at 92. And 2 players, Lund and Bergstrom, at 100%.
That's the key, though, Vic. Colleen, yes, her numbers have been lower, and she did not make perfect shots, but she also faced some pretty tough shots. And a team, all their numbers have to come up and take a little bit of the pressure off Colleen.
This is one of those games where they just haven't convinced themselves that it's as fast as it is. And here's another. That's just a little bit heavy. Exactly right. Kim Kelly is exactly right. She threw that there by herself. You can give that to the brushers as well. Here's a good call by Annette, I think, Linda.
She's second shot at the back of the house, but if you played a tap on shot stone, you just leave a pocket for Colleen to play. So they'll just bring it top house in front of the tee line.
Get there first.
Right in the pocket to lie 1 for sure. Let's go live now to the game between Dordy Nordby and Marie-France Larouche. And as we look at the house, Nordby has the hammer. Yellow stone, edge of the button. So it is Nordby lying 1. Second shot is the one at the back. Cold draw here for 2.
Yeah,
it seemed to be.
Yeah, it's a tricky little draw, but this is the second time that she's had to draw for an extra point. She missed it the first time. We'll see if she can get it here.
Two-time world champion. Been to 4 Olympic Games, Dordy Nordby. Of course, lost last year's world final to Colleen Jones. And she'll come up short here. So it'll be 1 for the Europeans, and Dordy Nordby in a 2-1 lead over Marie-France Larouche.
Well, we've all the players struggling with the draw weight this end, coming too deep. The problem now for Annette Norberg is the stone belonging to Colleen Jones is in the 4-foot. It really shrinks her scoring area, so she is going to try and tap it back, see if she can get a little roll.
Wait.
Little reminder to herself, a little less weight. Kim Kelly.
That's really slow. Lovely throw, Kim. Line's fine. Whoa. Line's great. Right to all there. Line's perfect. All there. Whoa, puppy, whoa.
You have to start watching the angles on these.
Still heavy. It was still heavy.
There could be some angles set up so that Colleen's rocks do get out of the house, and there's starting to be a few of the European team stones gathering at the back.
Quiet tap back.
Det är ganska bra ut.
Well, shot stone belongs to Norberg, as well as 3 and 4.
You got to be a little careful here all of a sudden. Now you don't want to be making a mistake. This is how those big ends sneak up on you sometimes.
So we want it right on the nose of the freeze. Yeah.
Just going to freeze onto the front one.
Freezing right to it. Otherwise, it's very dangerous. They are. They are. But
We have to
they're
put another
also
one in
like
there.
number,
Yeah, I see that. Number 8, 9, 10. Okay. Fair last, Nance.
I'd like to get it right on the nose.
Still faster. Yeah. Less again. Less.
You put it on the wrong angle, that can get rid of both of them.
You sure can. And even if you put it on the nose and there is an exchange, the back North American stone is going, leaving the top one. So in your next stone, you certainly can't make a mistake.
Nice throw.
And you're running out of stones.
You are. One after this.
I have a line and shoot.
Skip stones here in the
Straight
fourth.
freeze,
And
straight
Colleen
freeze.
Jones with her first.
Looks like a lot coming at me. Yep. Just to freeze.
Yep, yep, yep. Need to keep it on the nose.
Whoa.
That's a good shot. I think my angle's good. Yeah. Because, yeah, she can't get both of us. I don't think so.
Coming up Saturday, 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific, you'll see the Merrill Lynch Skins golf game on TSN. Tiger Woods, Freddie Couples, Adam Scott, and Annika Sorenstam. The Skins game of golf. Saturday at 4:30 Eastern.
Marginalen måste vara...
Frågan är om vi ska spela dryg, men dragning blir inget bra heller, för då kommer man ju riskera att lägga upp ett dubbelläge
Ja, nej, men jag
istället.
tycker hack är bra. Men isen
Ta lite mindre.
The angle setup not too bad for Colleen.
hack!
You can't get both of the red ones.
You can see that, excuse me, that Ava's taking a long time to look at where the shooter might roll. This is a tap that Annette is playing, but they're trying to be careful as to where they leave the shooter in relation to shot stone to try and avoid leaving Colleen an easier shot.
Christian Sorum, Ole Ingveldsson, head coach, assistant coach respectively of the European team here in Medicine Hat.
Maybe a touch more weight than they expected. That certainly isn't tap weight.
Shot stone to Norberg, second and third shot. Jones.
Okay. Yep.
She's looking for a little roll, but even a nose hit is not a bad shot here, Linda.
It's a big turnaround in the game. This is the first time they'll have had good pressure on Annette Norberg as she goes to throw her last.
Sneak a look quickly at the game between Ebnother and Lank with the Swiss skip leading 2-1. Patty Lank, the reigning U.S. champion, makes her home. Well, originally she's from Midale, Saskatchewan, makes her home in Western New York. Now curls out of the Niagara Falls Curling Club. Makes the hit, rolls over to score the deuce. They'll go to their fourth end break. Remember, we're only playing 8. 3-2, North America leading.
All right. Nose is not bad at all. Good girl.
Certainly isn't.
Is that number 3? The red?
Yeah.
Okay. Good shot. That's fine. Just got to roll or play the double.
Vilken fart? 9,5.
9-7.
It's amazing how one shot just turned that whole end around. And that's first stone. She had an opportunity to play the quiet
Ja,
chip
det ska vicka in.
lie too. She had to be worried about where she left it, but you got to make that tap first. Calling in this position.
Well, you're better off. 2/3 of your... The finish is fussy. Yeah, she does.
Final stone here in fourth, leading 3-1. Needs the hit and a little bit of a flip, a little inside roll to catch more of the forefoot. Can't hit it on the nose.
It was a good call to make the double, to give up only one.
So the steal of one. Jones will close the gap. They'll go to their break, and it's now 3-2.
Yes, Nancy, I agree.
Next weekend, the McCain TSN Skins game. Kevin Martin, Wayne Madaw, Glenn Howard, Mark Dacey, all former Skins game champions. And they'll all be in Bathurst, New Brunswick, playing for $150,000 in total prize money. The McCain TSN Skins game, December 4th and 5th from Bathurst, New Brunswick. This is the Gas City. All the lamps downtown are gas lamps. We're in Medicine Hat for the Continental Cup. Well, other members of the North American team on hand, of course. They'll watch everything. As we say, they never leave the building. This is truly a team effort, and the captain of the North American team is Ed Lukowicz, and he's with Kathy.
Ed, it's a big day for women's play. You have to make some tough decisions later about who will play in the big Skins game. Walk us through that for women's play.
Well, I would say that our least experienced team here in Skins is definitely LaRouche, so she'll probably play in the 30 game. That's what we're thinking. Patty Lank has been playing very, very well, so I'd have confidence her in the 40-point game or the 60. However, you know, Colleen has a tremendous amount of experience, Colleen Jones, and so that might be the one we go to. So there's a few decisions to make, but we have to see how they're playing as we get there.
You have to make a decision about men's with only having seen each team play once. Talk to us about that.
Well, we know the teams real well, though. I know the Laraway team. I've been working with them all year, and I have every confidence in them. Dacey, we know, can play real well, even in the Skins and at the Briar as well. But then we've got Furby, who's got a tremendous amount of experience. You give him good ice, he's awfully tough. So we've kind of got our decisions, you know, in the back of our mind, but then again, we want to see how they play it.
Vic, sounds like Team North America is in great shape with his captain.
Absolutely. That's why he has the nickname of Cool Hand Luke, and never a failure to communicate. As we pick up play here in the fifth, 3-2 after Colleen Jones managed to steal one. And let's go back to that last shot, Linda, because we went to the break. You were going to say that Ava Lund was the one who picked up on that to make sure they got the double.
Yeah, really good call in the house, because Annette Norberg was a little outside on a hit against three, was trying to roll in. It was clearly not going to do that, so the third called the other angle, and they got just the steal of one out of it.
Yeah, she makes a good heads-up call, otherwise, you know, that she gives up a deuce. That was one of those points that Colleen got. That was a very nervous point, because throughout that whole end, it looked like, you know, it could have been a big end for Sweden.
And as you say, it turns on one shot, the first by Norberg.
Turned around.
Although I really thought Colleen's shot to her first one, where it overcurled the spot she wanted, was a better shot, because it could have set up a lot of angles, nose or the other side. So in a way, they got a little fortunate on that, but nice call by Colleen. Got out of trouble, and here we go. Pretty close game, and steals have been a big factor.
I think the nose hit will be outside the rings, I think.
Nice shot.
på. Lite mellan.
Ja, inte så nära. Inte så nära.
This is a very interesting point of the game with the steal last in by Team North America, Colleen Jones. We have a fourth end break. There are just 4 ends left to play, so this, the 5th end, becomes extremely important. It really sets up the rest of this game. So there's going to be some big decisions by Colleen as to how she approaches this, whether she tries for the steal. And she's actually going to come down the ice to talk to the team about their approach in this very important end.
I don't mind the out front. The problem is
You're
that
thinking of the come around?
yes, yeah.
If you put one kind of just over
If you go
center,
out front
like right
now,
on center line, but
She has
just.
a chance to get in first.
Yeah.
And you know she will, because I
But
think she
Kim,
does.
if you put one kind of between those two, just on this side of center, out front,
I think she's going to
well,
peel.
what can they do? They'd have to come on the wide
Yeah.
end turn, I guess, but we control the
I think
forefoot.
she'll peel the center guard.
I think she
I
would
think she'll
peel.
start peeling.
I don't know. I don't trust that. But
Yeah, I'm not sure about it either because the
she
corner guards
draws
are
those,
trying.
yeah.
Well, you've
Exactly.
got. You could come around the center guard.
I don't think she'll
It's real
peel.
tight,
Yeah, I
and I
know.
don't want to lure them into the house too early either. So that's the
I
nice
like
thing
the
about
center
playing
guard
it out
myself.
front.
Okay, try the center guard. If she
The only other
draws
option
a
is in
little,
turn around the
In
yellow
turn around
guard.
the yellow, yeah.
I guess
It's not
we
a bad
should be
shot. You could
thankful
catch a
they
piece.
put rocks in play, period. If she draws so well, we have chances to draw around as well.
Let's go up front on just off the center a little bit.
Okay, Linda, your thoughts on that and the process?
It is an interesting.
Well, I like the fact they got together to chat about it because I've already stated I think this is a really important end, sets the tone for the remainder of the game, and obviously we're in a very close game. I don't mind any of the calls. I think they just have to be very clear. Are they trying to steal? Are they trying to force? What is their approach this end? And if I'm going to put something out front, I'm going to bring it tight to the ring so that either of the 2 stones out in front is usable, tapped or run backs.
No, we got lots of weight there. We're a little tighter than that.
Pretty close.
Little tighter.
It is a little tighter.
It is coming down. It's so different. It does slow down. Great shot.
That's a nice shot.
Well, that.
Trying to clean up the front and maybe get the double peel.
This is what Colleen thought she'd do.
Catherine Lindahl, that's Annette's sister,
Bump looks lovely.
just recently married.
Oh,
Now the raise. Got the 2 stones out in front. You can raise it back on the angle.
Just to draw. Might get a bump. Got room. No, we're close.
good for the bump.
Whoa line.
Just a little bump.
Hard. I'll start warming it up here.
Okay, you go.
Start warming it up, and they'll bump it straight back to the quite the top of the 4.
That was a great shot. Nice line, good weight to be top 4. Annette will try the run back.
Catherine, a former skip, actually won the Swedish championship, skipped the team in 1997 in Bern, Switzerland.
I think I will. Come along with yourself here. Short. Can you still throw a 5 here? Yeah.
One of the things we talk about a lot in curling is momentum, and that's why I was speaking about this end and how pivotal it can be. And right now you can feel a little bit of that momentum flowing back to Team Jones as they put the pressure on Annette Norberg's team, have the great stone top 4 foot, and now are protecting.
It did, didn't it?
Well, the weight was perfect. She wants them both. You want to hit this too high, Linda, or you'll spin it into the rings.
It's one of the nice ones, though. It's just off center to get the shot you want, and it does clean up the front.
Eva Lund.
I think I need a little more. Okay, that's good. A little less weight? Same. Perfect.
You're out there. Line's good. Little bit. Whoa.
There's no question this will curl. I don't think you have to worry about it. If you brush it a little bit, it'll come over nicely. Just don't want to overdo it.
Nice shot, Kim.
Känner du för att pröva på den eller ska vi bara ta öppningen? Prova skjutningen då.
Ja, i så fall från den sidan då.
Från den?
Nej, men alltså med träffen på den sidan.
Ja, ja visst.
The pick or the run back, and it looks like they've gone to the run back. I was looking to you, Ray, for that information. Remember, you're doing the Swedish.
I am.
Bergstrom and Lindell with the scrub, and they'll open it up again. The change in momentum, Linda, attributable to what?
Just the fact that there have been a couple of mistakes this end, and now it's Norberg scrambling to get at that one in the 4 foot. Yeah, it's a whole different feel when you have control of the stones in the house versus just scrambling, bailing, getting the front off, trying to find a way to see the button for your last rock. And it changes everything. It even changes the game pace, the way that you're moving through the end, the way that you feel you can put the broom down decisively. There's thought process involved as you're looking at ways to try and get at the stone that's in the house.
Where?
Yep. Gotta get a curl. Little curl. That center. Okay, you're fine
Are
now.
you
You're
tight?
fine. Clean.
Should come at the
Just
end.
that way. Yep.
Hard! Hard!
Hurry it up. Hurry. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Hurry, hurry. Every minute.
Want to cover that stone by in top 4, and it'll stay high and wide.
How was the foyer with the weight again?
Well, this is a nice chance now for Sweden to get to the back stone and get a little roll behind the corner guard.
Unfortunately for Colleen, her guard guarded the wrong side of the one in the house.
Yeah, if you're going to leave it exposed, you'd certainly like to leave the other side open.
On the hard.
This is quite a bit of ice. She must be playing it a little quietly.
Annette Norberg and her first. She has the hammer here in this 5th, leading 3-2.
Yep. Hey. Yep. Hey.
Looking to jump it over now behind her own stone. And it'll peak just a little bit, but very nice.
That's a great shot. She took the opportunity that was presented to her with that guard not curling enough for Colleen. Soft shot and got a bit of a roll. And on these, in my opinion, I'd rather roll it a little bit too far. I like taking the chance, because how often do you see you leave it sticking out on the center line side, which leaves Colleen then the nice roll back. Take a little chance. It rolled a tiny bit too far, but still a lovely shot.
It's a good call by Ava. They actually had different opinions on the brushing going down there. Annette was saying no, and Ava was saying yes.
Teams checking their times. We've really yet to see time become a factor in these 8-end games.
Whoa. Yep.
Jones in her last.
Yep. Whoa.
Trying to hit what she can see.
Whoa. Yep. Just clean.
It's a good throw by Colleen.
Oh, very nice.
Boy,
That's
look
not
at
always
that.
a routine shot.
And she'll hang it on the edge. Absolutely.
Nice shot.
So Norberg and the Europeans will play for the blank here in 5.
Cleaning. Might curl out here. It does curl on this side. I don't know if you go this far. It moves.
I think with any kind of weight, it'll run pretty straight down there. If she cuts her weight down by any chance, and then she can get there.
Looking for the blank. Oh, she hits it right on the nose. And just grabs enough of the 12-foot, forced to take one. So Norberg increases her lead, but Jones will have the hammer when we come back. Another update for you on this Friday morning, early afternoon. Lucia Ebnotter against Patty Lang. And you can see there is the 1 stone at the back of the 4-foot. Ebnotter, Lang, rematch last year's bronze medal game at the World Championships. Ebnotter out of Bern, Switzerland. Lang and her team from Madison, Wisconsin. There's the angle raise, little rub and roll to the 4-foot to score 2. Boy, she's made some terrific shots.
She made a couple of doubles that I can remember, and that's a great raise for the extra point. She had it all the way.
4-3, they lead there. And so as we look across the board right now, as we stand, the Europeans are leading in all games. In our featured, it's 4-2. And at Norberg leading. As we go to the 6th, Colleen Jones with the hammer.
We can't clean it. We can't clean it. It's slowing down, man.
You can tell the players are much more comfortable with the ice, though. The games are very close, and we're seeing the big shots today.
All right, so there's a European lead there. Doherty Nordby ahead of Marie-France LaRouche. Our game, it's Norberg ahead of Jones. And then we just showed you the nice 2 scored by Ebnotter to lead Patty Lang. All even at 27 points apiece. After yesterday's play, another 54 on the card today. Start the day with women's team. Later today, again, mixed. And then the men's team tonight.
You always see the ice a little more consistent in the morning draw, and then in the afternoon it gets a little bit softer. And then, of course, because of the lights and everything been on all day, we find that in the evening draw it gets, it's not that it's bad or anything, it just gets a little more difficult to read, and brushing becomes a little bit more important, the judgment of the brushing.
No.
It's a great brushing surface. You can carry the stone a long way.
Clean it? No, it's got a curl.
Where's her weight?
Weight's bumping a little. Not bad, actually. It's coming down.
No.
We can get by this red fella.
No, she's... Whoa. Pretty. Was a little heavy, eh?
Just a bit.
That back stone, the first stone at the end at the back of the 4-foot area is not exactly where Annette wanted it, but here's a chance to make a better one with that stone coming up in front of the rings. There's now 2 guards for Team Europe to come behind.
Hänger blått! Hänger blått! Hänger blått! Hänger blått! Hänger blått, tid! Tid! Hänger blått!
The last time playing this way, everybody seemed to be deep with the draws. They need something in front of the tee line here.
Ös nu! Allt vad ni har! Kom igen då! Kom igen! Kom igen! Kom igen lite till då! Kom igen, kom igen! Kom igen, viktigt nu! Kom igen, kom igen! Kom igen!
That's a great shot.
That is really a good shot. That's absolutely perfectly placed.
And get one in the house. Yeah, I like this stuff.
Okay.
Boy, I'd be tempted maybe to get that open.
I think I'd be hitting the front.
Yeah, I would be too, I think.
This puts a lot of pressure on Marianne to chip a rock, top 8-foot, and roll over. Has to be absolutely perfect.
Here it comes.
Whoa!
We're coming down to back 4.
It's a lovely shot. Great shot. Great shot, Marianne.
Nice shot.
It is a nice shot. Still not a great position for Colleen.
Det börjar dra dig. Vad är det för fart?
Catherine Lindahl.
We talked about Marianne having a really big shot. This is a really big shot now for Norberg. He needs to just cross the face of the red stone a little bit, not jam it.
I like the weight they're throwing on those kind of shots.
Quick look, and this is live at Nordby and LaRouche, and you can see 1, 2, 3 red stones. This is a draw for 4 for Marie-France LaRouche, and the crowd has gotten into this one. LaRouche with her first one made a lovely hit and roll, and then Nordby with her last crashed out in front, opened the hole now as LeMay and Gregoire trying to get it by, find the hole, rough roll in, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a lead for LaRouche.
We've seen that often with Doherty. She gets caught. She just will not peel stones, it seems to me. If we think back to the last 3 or 4 World Championships, Linda, you can get a big end against her. She makes a lot of great shots, but she really plays with fire on a number of occasions. And obviously, we didn't see that whole end, but you're right. Here's a good-looking shot. LaRouche did make a great shot with her first with a hit and roll, but with a couple of good shots, Linda.
Yeah, very nice. That one in particular, the redstone is not easy to remove, but you've got to go after it because it's in a perfect place to be used.
Absolutely.
Eva Lund.
Dryg, Sari! Dryg, Sari! Nej! Nej!
she just avoids the jam. You know, Linda, when you look at the scoreboard, you see Europe stole 2, Norberg stole 2, stole 1.
Stay still.
There was a steal of 1 by Colleen Jones. Then, of course, that there should have been a blank, turned out to be 1. The scoring primarily off the steals. It's as if you're more comfortable, teams are more comfortable without the hammer.
No, I think it's really just been execution,
Okay.
Vic. Yeah, it hasn't really been the fact that the steals have been set up by an amazing set of come-arounds or that sort of thing. It has been key misses. So here's a chance for Colleen to get one into a position. So there isn't a good chance for a steal, but a chance for a deuce for them.
I like the call, just a little too deep, but nice shot by Kim.
I didn't want it to go back button. I didn't want
No.
Yeah, it's one of those. If they make the freeze now, there's no button left.
Could you hear me down here having kittens? We had room, and I didn't
sure
want
why
you to
she wanted
sweep
it that
at all.
deep
I
'cause
wanted
we
you to just
lost the
die.
Did you hear me down here having kittens? Coming up this afternoon at 4 Eastern Time, 1 Pacific, we'll have the mixed doubles, and you can see one of those will be in action is Scott Pfeiffer, Randy Furby's second part of Huffin' and Puffin', and Huffin is with Kathy.
Well, for Scott, this is your 3rd year Continental Cup. Talk to us about how it feels.
It feels the exact same as the last 2 years. It's been an amazing experience getting to know the rest of our teammates and living and dying on their every shot.
Talk to us about this afternoon mixed. It's a very bizarre, different format. Do you like it? And what do you look forward to this afternoon?
It is. It's very exciting. There's lots of rocks in play, and you get to play with people you normally don't. So Natalie and I are sweeping for Patty and Randy, and we're going to have a great time out there, I'm sure.
We look forward to the game this afternoon.
Thank you very much.
And Patty won't get a lot of time off. She's currently on the ice, as you saw there, playing Lucia Ebnother.
Things are turning around out there, Linda. Marie France getting that big end and taking control of her game. Colleen's in pretty good shape right here.
This is a great spot. This is one of those pieces of ice you just love because you're watching how beautifully it finishes, how it curls in here. This is the key, though. If you throw the extra weight, we know it's not going to curl. So actually, Annette's going to come down and have a look at the yellow chip on the side, I think, instead of the straight hit.
She can't see. Well, she can't see very much of that.
It's a very, very tricky shot.
You're right behind the sheet, I know, but can you see through your scarf and earmuffs?
Yeah. You can see a corner of the red, and I think she feels that this is the play to make on this particular one. She has to just get by the red stone out front.
Live look, Ebnother and Lank as they play in the 6th. This will be Ebnother's last. Patty Lank and the North Americans playing the red stone do have the hammer. Whoa! Oh!
Boy, what a shot that is.
Feathered the top one to get the double.
She threw that big weight too. That's a great shot. That is a very, I mean, that's a Kevin Martin type shot where you just had to get by the top one. What a shot.
Ebnother sits right there, edge of the 4 tee line, and so it'll be a chance for 2 for Patty Lank.
Boy, when I said that Annette had to just get by the guard, that's all she did. That almost touched it.
That shows one of her strengths, though. She can throw the up weight, and she threw it there. She makes a great transfer with her when she delivers. She gets the weight back onto her back foot, and then the hips drop, and she can really drive out of there.
Yeah,
she can throw that big weight.
Hang it out there, guys. Don't be afraid of sweeping it because it'll still curl even when you know. Yeah.
Colleen Jones in her first, while we watch Patty Lank as well, trying to score 2 for North America.
Yep. Lot of room. Clean. 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 Just clean. Lot of room. Need it. Good shot.
Nice shot, says third Erica Brown. They'll score the 2. They'll take the lead there. And Jones will draw the T-line edge of the button to lie 1.
9-7 då.
Well, full credit for Colleen to get in the hack and find the perfect weight, because you've just seen your 2 beautiful stones in the button area get blasted by a wonderful shot by your opponent. But unfortunately for Colleen, it didn't make its break.
It didn't curl enough.
Det går väldigt lätt där, Annette.
For Annette, she probably has to quiet the heart a little bit. I'm sure the heart was pounding when she saw that last rock of hers just get by the guard and make the shot. And this is a little soft shot to try and force Colleen into a very difficult last stone.
You know, we knew it wasn't going to bury to give you the she hits and then you hit.
What else has she got here in a bag of tricks? Annette Norberg.
Ja, jag har ner den. 10. Han är lite utlagd.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Annette. Bra, Annette. Jag går och fyller på vatten.
What was that for?
Lite.
Is what Colleen Jones will face here with her last one.
You're not putting a negative thought into the airwaves, are you?
Oh, I mean, my goodness, you've got to go to talk about parking it now, Linda. We've talked about how some skips have this ability to look at the positive, not the negative, not what will happen if I miss this, my goodness, but what I have to accomplish.
Yeah, you can't be outcome based at all. You have to see there's a large port, there's a large way to the forefoot. You've just made it, and you keep all those positive thoughts in your mind.
Anything can happen, of course, but this is one of her strengths for sure, being able to, as you say, Vic, park them.
And I'm not picking on you, Ray, but this is something that you could not do when you played.
There's no question. When I skipped,
Yep,
I just couldn't do it. So I didn't put myself in the position to do it.
Whoa.
Facing 5.
Whoa.
Needs full 4.
Whoa.
Kelly. Arsenal. Back off. Needs full 4. Ava Lund is in position. It slides, and will stop, and it'll be a steal of 1.
All right, skipper. Just have that. Until you can get more.
5-2. Annette Norberg leading. The steal of 1 in the 6th to give them a 3-point lead. And, you know, you've both said right shot, right time. Annette Norberg with her first. I mean, this could have been disaster, but she pulls it off.
Oh, this is a fantastic shot. And she just has to get by the guard, as Linda mentioned, and I mean just by it. We'll see a number of these types of shots next weekend in Bathurst. But boy, I tell you, she threw the up weight, which she had to do to get the action when she makes contact. She gets the double, and that changed that end right around.
And then it was a draw against 5 that Colleen faced, and not off by that much, Linda, but just that little bit heavy.
The rock she was drawing against, let's not forget, got in there by a little hit and roll and was in a perfect spot, and there was a little bit of brushing on Colleen's draw. But that double was just such an amazing shot. Completely turned the end around. It looked like Colleen was going to get a deuce. So full credit for Colleen to get into the hack twice after that and throw pretty good draws. Just a tiny bit heavy on the second one. But as we head towards the Olympics, I keep saying this, but we're seeing teams in other parts of the world that are spending a great deal of time training, and you have to give this Norberg team full credit. They appear to be so well prepared. I've already talked about, I was very pleased with the game plan that Annette took, that she had a plan, that she came to the ice with a clear plan to start this end. Then you talk about the team looking very motivated. They have a little something to prove based on last year's Worlds and not medaling. And then finally, the fact that Annette can throw all kinds of shots, including that up weight, which she did in the last end. This is a team that is very prepared to play at the Worlds, and hopefully, I guess, for them at the Olympics.
It's a different team than we saw in Lausanne, as far as I'm concerned. They just, and it may be, as you mentioned, into the preparation over the last couple of years. Everybody, got the eye on that Olympic spot, that's for sure. All the countries, it's
keep it up.
a huge lift for curling in Europe. The last Salt Lake City Olympics with Paul Trolson from Norway and Rona Martin from Scotland. I mean, millions of viewers, etc., etc.
Wouldn't you agree that preparation now, I'll not suggest haphazard, it was haphazard, but now there's a plan most countries have, Linda, and in getting their Olympic programs together.
There's a plan, and there's also funding, Vic, because it's very expensive to train as an athlete. They must be supported, and now there are sports psychologists. Colleen Jones' coach, Ken Bagnall's a tremendous sports psychologist. They make a huge difference when you have this support team in place, and now finally curlers are getting that support that they need.
Yeah, we can go deep too.
Just so that we keep the room open.
And when it comes to the big game, this Colleen Jones team will be ready, whether it's the Scott Tournament of Hearts, the Olympic trials here in Canada, whatever it is, we know that they will be very prepared. And I think you say it so well, Ray, no matter what happens, if they happen to go on and lose this game, it will not stay with them.
No. And that the only thing missing from Colleen's resume is a trip to the Olympics, so that, like many other teams in this country, they would sure like to get there.
We're also looking live here at Marie-France LaRouche, who just scored a 4. This is a hit to live 4. No, she jams at the back. And so it appears it's lying just from where we're sitting. Looks like they're lying 2 or possibly 3. But Doherty Nordby is in some trouble here. She gets ready to throw her last one.
I think she's lying 3, Vic.
And Doherty has to draw against those 3 points, and the one is biting the forefoot, so this will have to be pretty precise.
Well, you talk about what Olympics can do for a sport. Think back to Helena Black-Laverson and the Danes when they won the silver medal in Nagano. They came home as heroes, and they started building curling clubs.
That's the huge difference in countries that don't have the facilities. It is a huge profile for the sport and the opportunity to get a new facility, a dedicated curling facility, and that's when your development can really grow.
In behind those two, because those are staggered.
Doherty Nordby getting ready to throw her draw, and you can see Colleen's situation where there is all European stones controlling the front of the house.
Rolling this way, is it there? Yeah.
Well, you're going to run into this one, but...
It is? Okay.
Doherty Nordby throwing here in the 6th or final stone. This is maybe a game saver for her. Just gave up the 4, drawing against 3, needs a good chunk of the forefoot.
Even that, you're still going to be open.
Lynn Gitmark is calling the line. Marianne Haslam behind the stone. Camilla Holt out in front.
They're dropping off. That's not a good sign.
Not a good sign. There's 1. There's 2. Will it be 3? They'll have a look.
Looks like 2 to me, Victor. Maybe 3. You may be right.
They're going to measure those 2. That's what they'll do. So it appears 2 for sure. A steal of 2, and now they'll measure.
Actually, I think the LaRouche team has conceded that it's just 2.
Just 2 it is. So says Caro Gagnon the 3rd. So a steal of 2, and now it's a 7-3.
We said only 2. Nice steal. Nice end. Very well played. Yeah.
Well thought out.
Just
the
in
one
case
right in
you
the middle.
go through the hole.
Okay.
Lots of options.
Remember too what the coaches, what these games mean for their coaches, Ray. Now here is obvious LaRouche coming back after
Back line
struggling
to
against
half.
Epnotter.
Back line
Does
to
this
half.
suddenly put her into a different light when it comes to
Yep.
Lukowicz's decision? As for Christian Sorum, what does he do now with Doherty Nordby? Where does he put her when it comes to skins games? That's what these games are about, sort of setting the table.
Well, this is a nice comeback by Marie-France, but I really think that if you look at the teams from an experience point of view, I don't think that, I think that you'll find that Marie-France would be playing in a 30-point game. I really do. I think that you got too much experience with Patty Lank and Colleen Jones.
I think for Christian, he may look at Doherty in that game as well, because she personally is not playing well. We just saw a shot she easily has made in other games. That draw to save the end, she didn't make it. So I think those are the two teams we may see facing off again.
And let's think ahead now. If what both you say is true and the coaches will make the decisions after the doubles, these two very well could meet again in that 30-point game.
Yeah, I think you could see the 3 games here repeated in skins play.
Bakat. Kom igen. Baklit.
So let's talk about mixed doubles.
Oh no, I've got a headache already. Not yet, please.
Imagine how I would feel if you called in sick.
Say Eva.
Wow. Yeah.
That's a good comment by Nancy.
Yeah, it is.
Get those yellow ones to the back of the house. It looks a lot better.
There's a lot of yellow rocks out there to be tapped up or moved or.
But all you can do is keep trying to come through this court and get a rock in a position where you force a more difficult shot on Norberg.
Rub off the yellow if you need it. Yep.
That just made a huge move.
Hurry, guys.
That had to grab something that moved so fast.
It definitely did. It definitely did.
Well, so on this second day, once again, it's team play and mixed doubles. Women's, men's tonight, and the mixed doubles in between. Total of 54 points available. And how quickly things can change here in this women's draw. 2 ends ago, it was the Europeans leading in all 3 games. Now it's the North American teams who are up in 2, and Europe leading in 1, including and the only game they're leading right here. Our featured game, Norberg up on Jones 5-2.
Ligger bra. Bakflott. Ligger bra. Bakflott. Ligger bra. Ligger bra. Ända ner då. Bakflott. Ja, bakflott. Jobba då. Bakflott. Ja. Jobba då. Ja. Jobba då.
All the way back. Put it on the face. Not quite. Sits back edge of the floor. But count them up now. First shot is obviously Europe. Second shot, but all those yellow at the top, can they be brought into play? Jones, though, has the hammer as we play here in 7.
That was a very good shot by the Norberg team to really make this difficult. Now Kim and Colleen are faced with trying to get scoring points in the 4-foot only.
Got a curl. Wall for line. Got a curl. What's your weight? Well, it might need some help, but I know we've got trouble here, right? Curl! Coming.
Hey, that's responding to the pressure.
That is a tricky little spot because it can hang.
Well, Linda makes a good point when she says that what Annette has done here is she's forced the game to the 4-foot, and it's really going to be hard, especially with Annette now having the chance to sit on top of that again, for Colleen to generate, you know, that extra point or the extra 2 points that she needs. You know, it's
Coming this way when she had to play the little bump on this one over here.
Leah Lindholm, the Scots, David Murdoch, the rest of the Lindholm team. The Europeans are here. And our featured game in men's team play this evening when we're with you again will be Lindholm against Randy Furby. Annette Norberg, her first. Got to find the hole now. Or if she can put this on top, as Ray suggests, she'll have that lid. Good brush. Lund out 2. Take it down. And we'll get it there for shot, but there's some separation.
You're having a very good morning. That is play-by-play, man.
Right there.
It's not easy to
I'll
remove
just
that,
tell you how
Linda.
much. You got a couple inches.
So something down a bit? Well, I don't want to go too down. Yeah. I want to get this This one. I want should to make sure jam this on one the- gets that's out, right. you know? Yeah, I know. So I guess board.
Okay.
Colleen would try to get across that yellow stone to
Nance.
hit the red
Give me a little
one,
more.
which won't go anywhere because it has something behind it. The curl, unfortunately, in this spot has been a little tricky. It's really come nicely when the rock is finishing with draw weight. The hits are a little more unpredictable.
Do you think she can get to the center line side of this stone and get the little flip in behind?
No.
No. So she's lucky.
She's now, will that yellow
She's
roll
on the.
off? Do I
She
have
wants to
enough
just kind
room to
of
get
on the
the
side of where the
curl?
brush is, and then flip that way.
How much?
No, she's playing to
space do you
try
have?
and get a little
Lots of
across
space,
the
but I don't
nose,
have
Vic,
enough. I
but
want
it's
it
a
to- I
tough
really want it to
spot.
She can get to the nose, that's for sure. And maybe
Yeah, I know, but it's a tight guard on.
It is tight.
12-foot guard though.
And that's what she's questioning in the hack, Vic, whether it's even possible. But she needs to make a play on that stone, and she's decided to try and do it by coming to the nose rather than the other side.
there's a little room.
Unless I should just be playing it
There you
straight
go.
out this
There's
way,
the
you know,
option that we
and
were just
trying to
talking
hang
about.
on to this side of the 4-foot.
Just chip it out any way you can.
Yeah, I'm gonna go look too.
I don't have a lot of room to get, you know,
Yeah, I know.
to get the inside roll. I'm just wondering
You know
now
what,
about
Colleen?
here out.
I think you
You
can
lose
get
your
by that.
shooter.
You don't have to curl over curl that
By
very
much.
much to get it by there, and then that won't go anywhere. If you hit that half, which
Yeah.
you will,
Yeah.
I think it's there.
And it actually doesn't look very good.
You know,
for them.
yeah.
So
The other
it
thing
looks
is,
harder to
is
pick
you
it.
could play just to here with it, if you're worried about
That's
the
what
action.
I'm thinking.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Play back 4, back 8 even, to get the movement, and then might be more controllable.
Mind you, like
Well,
we're thinking though, is if
you
it
even
does
clip
come
this,
off of
you
this,
want
then
it,
you're not.
if you even just clip
Yeah.
this a little, you want to have enough weight.
Yeah.
Yes.
Back line maybe then.
Yeah, back line.
Okay,
Okay.
that's true.
As you look at
Back
it
line looks
here,
really nice with because
you don't think that
just
she-
have to overcurl it an inch.
You don't think
we'll
she
bring
can
it down
get
back line
to the
now.
center line side of that stone, considering that's what, 2.5 feet there.
It's going to be tough to curl past a rock top 8 and get a lot more finish on it. And I think she has to be playing enough weight. I think backline is maybe not even enough. Enough weight to get this yellow rock to go somewhere to set up the last shot.
This will be the first stone for Colleen Jones here in the 7th, trailing 5-2.
Yep. Whoa. I don't see curl going yet. Whoa. Clean. Close. Whoa. It's trying. Close. Whoa. Whoa.
Can it get
Trying
across?
so hard.
Can it get across? It did just a little bit.
That's good shot. You know what? I couldn't have got by this one by any closer.
Were you really tight to that?
Still leaves Norberg shot stone.
kan hända den.
Nej. Jag vill bara att vi inte ska göra den för snabbt.
Men vänta.
It was one of those that was really difficult because if you don't make it, you're not leaving yourself a lot either for the last rock. We remember the wall of yellow out
Yellow
front.
rock. Mind you, we got, I mean, look at this is actually, we got the act. We're going to get that
Jag
one.
fattar inte hur de ska kunna ta bort den.
Vad säger du?
Vad ska de göra här?
Ja, de kan trycka in egen röd.
Ja, för netta.
Va?
För netta,
Ja, något annat kan de
Nej.
göra. Det är det vi måste garda.
Ja. Ja, men jag bara ville...
Ja.
Jag vill gärna veta. Hur mycket is då, Anette?
Pia Lindholm,
Ja, gärna mitt.
reigning world champion.
Jag vill inte lägga den för nära.
See him tonight against Randy Kirby.
Skicka den röda helt enkelt. Strax den röda.
Just drawing down the face of the red one. Top 8 foot's okay. Top 12 foot. A lot of Yellowstones there.
Halva?
All she really needs to do is plug the hole.
Ja, räcker det
I'm
eller?
not sure what Colleen's going to have if she makes this guard.
Strax över. Stanna snart. Ska vi dra den? Nej då. Dra Anette. You got this guy.
That's my cleanest.
Yeah. And you have to try to make the...
Marianne, do you think this is here?
This looks
Onto our
easier.
red?
Well,
Like this here?
that looks... You have to get by that guy and that guy.
I got a
What
lot
about
to
this
get
one?
by there.
This one you can get the yellow. You have to just skinny the red. Oh, it's very slight.
Very slight is right.
At least it's just more direct. Isn't that red in the way, Nance?
Colleen, the thing with this one is,
This you're playing on red on
well,
red.
and there's a couple ways to make it. You
Yeah.
could go straight through, or if it happened to go here,
Yeah.
I mean, it's ugly.
Yeah, that
but
one's very slim. It's just a little...
Can't find you a real nice looking shot, Colleen.
That yellow's ugly because we could give them
Yeah.
two that way.
Oh, good point.
Yeah, maybe. And can we do it directly, Nance, on
What?
this one?
Well,
Can we
come
go
look
by
at it,
there?
Kim. I mean, if you hit this back onto that, you know, just come as close to this yellow one as you can, back onto the red, right? It'll go back to the yellow.
Yeah, that does look like you could do that.
For three.
For three. It's an open hit. Skipper, look, it's open.
It is. It is. See
Now,
anything
what
else?
if we hit that on the nose? If we hit that, then we're going to be taking that one onto that other red.
If we hit what on the nose?
Well, if this was square on the nose here,
Well,
then that's going to hit that there onto that red, right?
yeah, we really got to make sure this comes over the top of the face here, though.
And in order to do the direct one, it's about three
Doesn't
quarters.
matter if we play that red and onto red and happen to pick it. That's okay too. 'Cause
Sure.
we don't screw
The
anything.
direct one, I would say, is about 3/4, maybe a little tiny thinner. This one would be more like a nose.
I think half might be.
What'd you say?
The direct one would be how much? 2/3 to 3/4.
Yeah, I don't think half. Half is going to be too thin.
No,
for
half
me.
would go over
Yeah,
there. And then the straight, and then almost nose for the other one. All right, Skipper.
God bless you.
So we're gonna try to call the straight through.
yeah. Straight through, yeah.
Okay,
So two-thirds.
right on.
Well, they're going to try and bring that guard through the hole onto the red stone in the 4-foot. From the last discussion I heard, and I don't know about these angles. This is extremely difficult.
Less ice.
Interesting.
We've
So
got
those-
all 8 rocks in play with a 3-point lead. Hard to believe.
Good
should
point.
be burned for that, Skipper.
She's talking
Yes.
about Norberg and saying, here's a team with a 3-point lead and they're throwing everything at us.
Vi är ganska nära emellan dem. Det hade varit ganska svårt då, men de hade kunnat
Ja,
göra
den
det.
fanns ju.
Ja, absolut.
Den fanns.
They kept all those rocks in front of the tee line, though.
Yep. Hard. Hurry!
Kelly Arsenault,
Hurry! Hard! I think we've missed everything.
you gotta hope so. Oh! now it's a steal of 2.
2 yellow. Yeah.
2 yellow.
Well, you know what? Oh, I didn't see that. No.
Norberg and the Europeans lead by 5.
That's all right.
An update for you from the game between Ebnother and Lank. Final stone there. You see the yellow stone? That was the last by Ebnother. Came just a little too deep. Was hoping to put it half in, half out. And this nose hit wouldn't be available to Patty Lank.
There was nothing going in this game at all because the lead's first 2 stones slipped into the rings. The end was played wide open, and Patty Lank's American team did not make any mistakes.
As she makes the hit for the single, wins at 6-5 and picks up 6 points. Doherty Nordby against Marie-France LaRouche. And you can see, look at all the reds. It has been a turnaround for this team from Quebec City, and now Doherty Nordby with her last one. The 4 spot put up by Marie-France in the 5th, then stole 2 more in 6. So this is really a stay alive shot for Doherty Nordby, and makes it to pick up 1-7-4. LaRouche leading as they come home with the hammer. So with 6 points already decided, as we count the race to 2:01, the North Americans take the slight lead, but in the 2 remaining games they've sawed those off. So right now it would still be slight advantage for Team North America. In our featured game, of course, look how this is turned around. Steal 1, steal 2, 7-2 with Norberg leading Jones.
Well, the last end for Colleen really never set up. Even though there was lots of rocks in play, the rocks in the better position were Team Europe. And on Colleen's first stone, I really think she had to think about, and it's easy from up here, to think about what she might leave herself, because as soon as the stone wasn't made on her first, all the rocks were overlapped, the angles weren't there, and she had virtually an impossible shot on her last.
She's thinking we have to put 5 back here.
Well, you have to really give Annette Norberg and the Swedish foursome a lot of credit. They really played well, as you mentioned already, Linda. They seemed to come into the game with a plan. The very first end, they were aggressive. They threw up the front rocks. They got the good come-arounds. And then it was a matter of some execution. Colleen missed a couple draws that you normally don't see her miss. It happens. But she'll take this game and just put it away like she always does and regroup for the next set.
Catherine Lindahl. If you're wondering why they haven't shaken hands, because the rule is that you have to play until you are mathematically eliminated. 5 might seem a little too much to overcome.
Wait, Matt. We go, Kim. Okay, I was just seeing if we curl a bit. Way back.
I was kind of wondering that, Vic.
Got it. Go, Kim.
Good weight.
Never shake hands in my game. Nothing's too much to overcome.
I know, but no team would consider it.
That's it, exactly.
It's a matter of eliminating stones now.
Green lights come on means clean throw. I tell you what, I like these stones.
Oh, it's fabulous. Handle. It's working so well.
Again,
there's no controversy. There's just nothing. It's
people at University of Saskatchewan Saskatoon, great job.
Okay. Sweet.
I'm sure lots of provinces now are hoping to get a hold of those handles. The cost is still quite high for a province to try and buy a set to use in their competitions, but I'm sure the day will come when we see them filtering down from the
Let it
world
bend
and
a little.
national
I guess
levels
you have
to
to
the
get it in though, right?
provinces.
And to the clubs.
And that's right.
Hurry, line. Get her in. Okay.
If the cost would ever come down on those color TVs, I'd get rid of that black and white of mine. It's just really different.
You know, my
We've seen the look on your face when you spend money.
Hey, those arms get really short.
Those fingers have never seen the bottom of your pockets.
That's not true.
Time and rocks running out here on Colleen Jones and her team.
They have to all break their legs when we run.
Kim is so cute.
Yeah, freeze. Yeah. Here, I'll just give you a smidge more weight. Actually, just give you a smidge more weight. Good. Got room this time. Let it bend, let it bend.
You know, that 5 rock definitely curls a little harder than the 6 rock. Pistol, Kim. Great shot.
I said.
Oh. Start one. Because 5 is hard.
5's tricky. That's why I put that little guard so tight in case
Yes,
we needed to
loose.
split it in.
Well, they're always thinking.
I don't think you'll see that rock very long, and that's going to display the easier hit, which is the front one.
No, this game is over.
And there it is, the handshakes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
It'll go into the Continental scorebook as a 7-3 win for Europe. And they'll pick up the 6 points. So we're all even again, depending on what happens. One game to still decide LaRouche at Nordberg. In women's team play on the second day of the Continental Cup, we split the 2 games. Patty Lank was a winner. Annette Norberg a winner for Europe. And now this final game featuring Dordy Nordby against Marie-France LaRouche, with LaRouche from Quebec City leading 7-4. And she also has the hammer. She needs to split this. Needs to make them all count now. And so now an elimination of this stone for LaRouche will give the North American side 2 of the 3 women's team matches. As the crowd comes alive here at the arena in Medicine Hat. What a turnaround for LaRouche, who struggled badly, losing 10-3 to Lucia Ebnotter in her first team game on Thursday, and then today starting out slowly, trailing 3-1, responded with a 4 in the 5th, stole 2 more in 6, and now has a chance to give the North Americans another 6 points for the win. "7-5 will be the final score. But it is another 6 points for Team North America and a nice rebound for LaRouche. And in fact, will that be the game we see, the matchup we see in the Skins game? Could very well be. That'll be up to the head coach, Ed Lukowicz, here at the Continental Cup in Medicine Hat.
The 2004 Continental Cup of Curling on TSN is brought to you in part by Robax Platinum, helping you walk away from back pain, and by Radio Shack, just around the corner.
Still remains very close after women's team play, but that additional win, Marie-France LaRouche coming back to pick up the 6 points, and that's the difference. North America with 39 points compared to the Europeans 33 in this race to 2-1 to decide the winner of this year's Continental Cup. Linda, Ray?
Well, you know, we were seeing women's play, and I think we saw a different style of women's play. Second day, getting used to the ice, and Annette Norberg and her team were just superb in that game.
They really were, Vic, Linda, and the thing was that the ice was very, very good this morning, and Annette just, she came out with a plan, like you mentioned early in that game, and she just stuck to it, and they really executed well. But we know they're mechanically very, very strong. She made some great shots through that game. And it was a big turnaround, a big shot by Annette in the sixth end. Well, you know, the thing that's impressive about this, first of all, you see her make that nice transfer of weight, so she has the ability to jump out of that hack, and she throws the big weight so well. And this is an absolutely difficult shot. She has to hold it up all the way and just get by the top one to make this double. That's a great shot. It's a wonderful shot. And it was an opportunity for Colleen to get back in the game, and that kind of squashed it because it was a steal. Now, Annette is a team we've seen before. I think we're seeing a new level of play from them. Yeah, I think that they've really impressed me, too. They just got better. They're getting better and better each year, too. And they're preparing for that Olympic drive, that's for sure. Colleen was just a little off. It didn't have the weight, couldn't feel the weight. And when she, she missed a few draws, they put her behind the 8 ball. But that Swedish team executed fantastically. And these matchups we just saw in women's play probably, in my opinion, are the ones we'll see again in skins play, and it makes another rematch for those two teams, and of course on the other two sheets as well. It was an interesting day for women's play. We do move into the one we both love. Mixed doubles is coming up, and we're going to have to get our heads around that whole format. It's a great matchup that we're going to see as well. When we watch the teams go back to the ice, try to get used to the rules, but Annette Norberg is one of those going to the ice to try and play well in that mixed doubles format. I think she brings a lot to that format as well. Yeah, well, she's mechanically so strong, Linda.
Get the headache pills now. It is mixed doubles when we join you again at 4 Eastern Time, 1 Pacific, and yes, we will see Annette Norberg, Thomas Nordin, all Swedish, and Patty Lank, reigning U.S. champion, coming off a big win as she teams with Randy Ferbey. The North Americans have a 6-point lead. This is the Continental Cup on Canada's sports leader, TSN.